What's up, guys? So I just finished this mouse. Obviously, you might know what this started out as. If you know gaming mice, you might know what this is, but I'm not gonna say it. So this is magnesium. I guess I'm just gonna run through exactly what I did to this and everything I fixed. So this is magnesium, but it came painted in silver. I think if you're gonna have a metal mouse, let the metal shine through. So I took my Dremel with that metal brush tip and I just removed all of the paint off of this until it was bare magnesium, but then it started oxidizing, so I had to clear coat it. I removed this logo because I just love the design of this thing. It doesn't need a logo. It looks like organic, like it grew, and trees and things that grow don't have emblems and logos on them. So I grinded that, or ground that off, however you say that, and it's got some battle markings on it. But now I have this raw magnesium looking mouse. Now these, I thought, because I've had two versions of this mouse, I had a black one where I couldn't tell if these were actually magnesium too, but on the silver one it was obvious that they're plastic, the actual switches, or the buttons here. So I mean, the color was slightly different, like the gray here and the gray here was slightly different, so I could definitely tell they were plastic. So I ended up taking these out and plasti dipping them. So instead of using this thing that it came with, these rubber grips, they kind of elevate the buttons and they're not really flush with the mouse. I just put a few coats of plasti dip, so it's rubber, it's rubberized, and I think that feels a lot more premium and usable because it's really grippy, but it's low profile and it feels more premium than plastic. So these I left plastic because I think they're really cool. Okay, so one more thing I fixed. This thing used to have a bit of pre-travel and a pre-click, so it would like click a little bit before the actual click. So I took this mouse apart like 20 times, maybe 50 times, and I put a little piece of tape between the switch and this button on the inside to close that gap a little bit. So now this doesn't have any pre-travel. I did the same here just to get the feeling to match up. So these are perfect. So you can see here the bottom, one of these screws is missing because that happened, but I think that looks cool, so I'm keeping it. And I also don't have a choice about keeping that, so that's just part of the character of the mouse now. So that happened because I was sanding, I think, or maybe I was cleaning, because I tried a lot of experiments with this thing, because one of the things that bothered me, and I'll get back to that, but one of the things that bothered me about this mouse was on the inside there was this piece which diffuses the light from the LEDs, which are here. There are 3 LEDs there, which actually you can see if you look through this crack. See them in there? So that's one of them. But so they're placed back here, and then there was this shield that would diffuse the light, and so only this little shape would light up, and then the rest of the mouse would be dark. And I was like, why the fuck did they do that? This mouse would be cooler if the entire inside of the mouse lit up and you could see all of its guts. So I asked myself, why was the light confined to this spot? And then I found this piece in there, so I took this out, got rid of that, and then I figured out that this piece, which also had a Gravistar, oh, I almost said the name there, well, it had the logo, okay. I want to keep this as, well, you can tell what mouse it is there too. I don't know why I don't want to say the name. I don't want to say the name. It had a logo there. And I took my Dremel and I grinded that off, okay? So I wanted that to be smooth too, for the same reason as before. I don't like words on stuff that's designed like this, because it looks like an animal or something organic that grew, and things that grew in nature don't have words on them. So there were actually 2 stickers here too, which I don't know why the fuck it comes with stickers there, because this is so much cooler, this little mesh, or these holes. So I took these 2 stickers off that I didn't even know were stickers. I thought they were just printed on plastic here, but they are stickers, and underneath is this really cool mesh pattern, which looks a lot better. So anyway, this piece right here, I tried a lot of experiments to frost it, because the magic of this piece is that it catches light really well, and it diffuses it, but why is it limited to this profile when it could have been the entire mouse, which is what I asked myself. So I set out to frost this piece instead of just having that one little piece. So I tried sanding it, but that just scratched it up. And then I tried spray painting it, which you can kind of see in the inside there. There's like gray, white spray paint enamel, which some of it stayed behind, which kind of gives it this really devastated dystopian look, which I don't mind really. You can see it in there too. So I sprayed it on the inside and the outside, and then that was blocking too much light. So I ended up removing it, sanding it off, and then in that process, I used acetone to take some of the paint off, and that actually ate through this plastic because I used a little too much, and that's when I lost that part. So I stopped using the acetone and backed off on the sanding, and then I asked AI and it told me to wet sand with higher grit, so I did that, and that actually worked. And this piece, you can still see there's like ridges, these lines, which I think if I was to design this mouse, I would just use this piece, I'd finish it like this, and I'd keep it completely flat. But honestly, this kind of dirty or damaged look looks really fucking cool too. So I'm happy with the result of my experiments. But so yeah, that's what I tried to do. So I wet sanded this whole thing and tried to frost it, and I succeeded because it didn't used to look this good. It was a lot clearer, and you could see that there were 3 LEDs in here, but you can't really see it anymore. It diffuses the light really well. So that's the story of that piece. And then, so that looks really good, especially at night. You see the light through all these slits in the sides. Look at that, that's sick. Before you couldn't really see anything. It was just confined to this back spot here. So now the entire inside looks alive, which is a lot simpler, and I much prefer. So I fixed this button, I fixed this aesthetically, I fixed the look of the mouse, which raw magnesium to me looks way fucking cooler than paint. Like, it looks like plastic the way they finished it. No, let's be honest, the way they finished it looks pretty badass, but I think raw metal looks way cooler. If you're gonna have metal, like, show it off, you know? It's beautiful. So, and then the big thing was these switches, which might have been the initial reason I took this thing apart in the first place, was to try and fix these, because I've had 2 of these, and on both of them, the switches have been fucked up. So the first one I got was a black one, and it had like a pre-travel on the right, and it would even like pre-click a little bit before the actual click. I ended up returning that one because it bugged me, and I also didn't really have the mindset or the will or the curiosity or the balls to actually take that one apart and void the warranty. But I got a little discount on this one, so I said, why not, fuck it. Also, other things are happening in my life, and mouse going bad is really not it's the least of my worries, you know. I have real shit going on. I don't really give a shit. I didn't really give a shit if this broke, and it didn't. I've succeeded. I think, see how long it lasts now, but I think I've gotten exactly what I wanted, and that's why I'm making this video now. So anyway, the process of getting these switches right. So on the inside of these, I tried lots of things. First of all, there are 2 screws that hold these buttons in place on the inside. It actually screws into this plastic piece that I was telling you about before, and then this plastic piece screws into the bottom here. Well, it actually screws into this, and then this whole top part screws into the bottom, but excuse me, that's not very important. The point is, these 2 buttons connect to this and this with 2 screws. So I tried adjusting the tightness, and actually minor adjustments to the tightness did actually show up. I could tell the difference. But even though I was excited at first, the switches started bugging me again. So I went back in and I adjusted the buttons like 10 more times, 50 more times, or whatever. I mean, I adjusted the screws, and I've had little successes, whatever, but ultimately didn't work. So what I tried to fix the pre-travel problem was a piece of masking tape between the actual switch, which is connected to the bottom of the mouse, which is in here, the actual switch, and then the plunger, I think it's called, where there's a little plunger that comes off of the bottom of this button that hits the actual switch. So right in there, I put a piece of masking tape. Now, initially I had good success, but then it started sticking. And so that wasn't good enough. And so I asked myself, what the hell do I do now? So AI said, get aluminum tape. So I had got aluminum foil tape because it doesn't compress as much. And so I just got that today, and I went back in and I fixed it up with aluminum tape instead of masking tape. And that seemed to work at first too, and then it started sticking again. And so what I ended up doing was, there were these little things. These little tiny pieces of foam, right? I told myself it has to be the foam, because if I was using the mouse really fast, the clicks were fine, but if I let it sit for a few seconds or a minute, it would stick. So I'm telling myself, okay, the foam must be compressing when I'm using it, and then it decompresses when I let it sit, and that's why I have to push through that foam again when it resets. So I thought I might break the mouse, but I took the pieces of foam out. So the pieces of foam are not, they're not between the switch and the plunger. They're like, the plunger comes down, and check this out, because I'm not taking the fucking mouse apart again. So there's the switch, right? This is the bottom of the mouse, and then that's the little tiny little button that actually gets pressed in and clicks. And then there's the plunger right here, and then up here is actually the surface. That's where my finger goes, right? So this is where the finger goes, and you push down on here, but right here there's like this little cave. There's this little space. Hopefully that's focused. So right in this little space, there was a little piece of foam, like right here, or on the top or bottom, I forget where, but this piece kind of, if you want to imagine it from the side, there's a little section of that plastic shell that kind of goes like this, right? So this is the switch in the mouse, that's the bottom of the mouse here. This is the plunger, this is the button, and this is my finger, right? So finger goes here, this is the top of the button, plunger here, that's the switch. So this is where, by the way, while I'm here, this is where I put aluminum tape to close that gap and eliminate the pre-travel. So I put a few little tiny, about that wide, tiny little sheets of aluminum tape. You can see the spare, or the excess here I have. So little slits, I think I put 5 on the right click and 3 on the left. I just kept doing it to taste, kind of like cooking. You just season it to taste, to get that pre-travel exactly where I want it to be, which is 0. I don't like pre-travel, so that's where I put the aluminum tape. And then in here, where this connects to the shell, it kind of locks in here, right? Just to keep it from moving around. It's kind of like a cylinder and a piston a little bit, and then there's the screw is over here. But so right in here, either on the top or the bottom, there's a piece of foam, and so I took that foam out. And ever since I took the foam out, I've been living free, baby. I've been living free. Without the foam, no more sticking. You can tell this mouse has been sitting here for minutes. It doesn't revert to anything. These clicks are instant. They're nice and saucy and even, and fucking, oh my god, they're amazing. This mouse is fucking amazing now. So I thought I'd share my findings to anybody who's going through stuff like this. Yeah, and maybe if you have money and you want to buy this thing, message me, because I don't know, I'd be open to buying this, make a little profit, and make some more, because I think this looks really cool. So yeah, thank you for watching, and here, let me give you some light, because that mouse pad deserves a little bit of light. There you go. So yeah, thank you for watching, and that's my gaming mouse. Well, really, it's just a mouse, because I use it for productivity most of the time. I really don't play games these days, but, you know. There you go.